Good morning, all the degenerate gamblers. Okay, what a day yesterday, day one of Aintree. Great to touch on a few winners, and that's what it's about, finding a little bit of value for the followers of my channel. So thank you all for supporting, and yeah, I'd just like to say what a day yesterday. The nap getting home, so important for the nap to win. The nap of the day advised at 4 to 1 in the morning, getting home in Ireland. And also we touched on a nice few winners at Aintree, as big as 14 to 1 and 10 to 1 and 5 to 1. So really great day. So let's move on swiftly. Look, I'm not going to bore you today. I'm going to get straight down to business. I'm just going to move through the races swiftly, and yeah, I haven't got a rock solid opinion on. I have an angle with a horse a bit later on the card that I like, but for now I'm just going to touch on a couple of horses. Amarillo Sky in the first race I like as an improver. I'm not going to go through all the names, there's too many horses in it. So Amarillo Sky, I like him as a good each way bet in the first. Definitely has some upside still. He got a fair hike in the weights, albeit he did win around Exeter, a completely different track, but I'm prepared to think that this horse is on the up and could have upside. And let's just touch on Tronador as well. Tronador is in here off a lightweight, very consistent, genuine little horse. I'm familiar with this horse. I've ridden him before. I have actually taught him how to jump, believe it or not. I schooled him for a couple of weeks, got him off the ground. So Tronador is definitely an improver. So I'm going to take two horses. I think 2.5 mile for Tronador around Aintree could suit. So I'm going to take two young up and coming improvers against the field. I know one of the lads that I talked to behind the scenes likes Mr. Coffee. So look, treat it with care, just tentative selections, and I'm going to move on swiftly. Like I said, I'm not going to just tip horses for the sake of it. If I don't have a fancy, I'm not going to be bullshitting. I don't want people backing horses that I don't fancy. So that's not the way it is. So moving on, so to the Betway top novices hurdle. Dusart, this is, it all revolves around this horse here for me. This horse looks like he could be anything. Positives, very good on debut, very professional, galloped out to the line, put away a very good horse in Soaring Glory, who managed to win the big handicap hurdle at Newbury. So really good performance and a really high level of form shown on only one start. But the negative, why haven't we seen him since Newbury? That's the only little worry for me, why he hasn't been seen in 155 days. Personally, I've no way of knowing what happened, but he obviously had some little setback. So best of luck to Dusart. He looks a very good horse. Then we'll go down through them. Agerio, real improving type, getting it done. I like For Pleasure, maybe a little each way. He can probably go out in front and catch me if he can tactics. He did run quite well in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. So I'll give a Dusart if he's okay and he shows up. I think he will improve the most. He looks to have far more scope than a lot of them. So really excited to watch that horse running today. And yeah, very interesting. So let's move on rapidly there to the 250 in the Mile May Betway, or the Betway Mile May Novice Chase Grade 1. Chantry House, real improver, getting the hang of things, brushing up on his jumping. The Big Breakaway, really nice horse. I really like the Big Breakaway. I think he's just going to be a right horse down the line. He's a big raw horse too. That's definitely only a 6-year-old, still improving. And yeah, I think if not this time, maybe next year he could be one to really follow. Fiddler on the Roof, Shamblu done far too much in a race at Cheltenham. Draw a line through that. Sporting John is a big price here. He is a little tricky, and ground might be getting quick enough, but I do think he definitely shouldn't be as big as around 14 to 1 and things like that. But I am just going to touch on Robbie Power here. Fiddler on the Roof. I think Fiddler on the Roof could probably run a massive race here. But anyway, I'm going to move on quickly. Chantry House has done nothing wrong. Really rock solid horse. Always improves every season. His form is rock solid. And yeah, but I'm going to take a chance with Fiddler on the Roof. That is my selection. And a tentative one at that. A lot of improving horses in the race, so tread carefully. So we have the 325 at Aintree. We have the Marsh Chase, registered as the Melon Chase, Grade 1. Okay, what a race this has been over the years. So, the 2.5 mile, Fakir Dudari's, this is always around his trip where he's at. Tends to be the bridesmaid, but always rock solid. The Drasher, Mac Griffiths and Jeremy Scott. This horse just keeps improving. Definitely an interesting runner. How nice would it be to see Matt Griffiths and Jeremy Scott bag this one? Master Tommy Tucker, the oh so quirky, sometimes a little low at his fence, Master Tommy Tucker. Okay, ridden by Sam Twiston Davis. Nutswell coming from the handicap ranks off the back of a good win. He beat a horse, Clondalk Castle, who ran very, very well yesterday. So Itchy Feet lost his way a bit, is definitely better than he's shown us. And Duke de Geneves has just kind of fell away a small bit and just isn't really as good as he once was, but has ability. And don't forget that Duke de Geneves has ability. I'm going to say when they have Politolog bet here, they have it won, because I just think he's rock solid. I think in a race of this context, Politolog is rock solid. Fakir Dudari's definitely, I think, but he's rock solid. His form is great, but he always tends to just find one. Maybe this is the perfect race for him, but he'll have to jump quick and fast down the back straight here. There's no messing around here in a race like this, and he would lack the size and scope of a couple of the others. Notebook, very, very good horse in Ireland, doesn't seem to get it on. Do you know what? I'm going to take a chance on Politolog. He just keeps dining at the top table. We don't give him the credit he deserves. I just think a tentative selection with Fakir Dudari's probably to chase him home. Anyway, let's move on quickly. So, really, really tricky race, of course, as always. The Randox Topham Handicap Chase. Have you got the winner? If you have, I'll give you a job tipping on here. Right? I'm only codding. So I'm not going to go through them all. There's a lot. I'm going to just give my quick selections. I fancied a couple of horses each way. So obviously there'll be lots of places in this shop around. Get the best value. Search for your best prices. Don't let the bookies rip you off. If a horse is 16 to 1 with one bookie and 12 to 1 with another, who do you back him with? You know who to back him with. Okay, if a fella gives 5 places and another gives 6 places, who do you back him with? You know the fucking answer. Right. Modus. John Joe O'Neill, Paul Nichols. I like Modus. I really like Modus here. And I'm going to give him a big shout. Right. Dun Vegan, or however you pronounce him. Number 13, Brian Cooper for Pat Fatty. This is a nice horse. Probably better going right-handed. But I just think Dun Vegan could run a good race here. There's plenty of room in the National. There's lots of long straight, or on the course. There's lots of long straights and that. So I don't think it's left-handed, but I think he's enough of room. And I might be wrong. I just tend to think he's better right-handed, and I might be wrong on that. So I'm just going to go with Modus and Dun Vegan each way. And I will give a shout out to Keelan Woods, Huntsman's son. Definitely a horse with a chance here. So best of luck to Keelan Woods at Lone Jockey. And yeah, this is the kind of race Keelan will thrive in. And yeah, really best of luck moving forward. Okay. Moving on now to, this is one I have a really, really good angle here. Galley Hill. I really like number 8 in the 440 Dunbar Novices Hurdle Grade 1. Okay, lads, I have no nap of the day today because I'm not going to be fucking napping horses for the sake of it and end up costing people money. I'm going to be genuine. I have a strategy. I give horses I fancy, and I talk about upside, and I talk about maybe short prices that have downside and things like that. But anyway, let's touch on Galley Hill. Really, really nice horse. Has been a little bit raw in his races, little unfurnished, still running to a really nice level. Stepping up to 3 mile today. Yes, Brave Man's Game holds a fair level of form. He definitely is a rock solid favourite and should be favourite. Cape Gentleman, definitely. Emmett Mullins, how can you underestimate this young man? Rachel Blackmore in the saddle, he gets it. But my selection of the day is Galley Hill. This is a horse, I think he's a rock solid each way bet. It's 7 to 1 or 8 to 1. He has been a little bit bigger in places. I just think Galley Hill, for me, has a lot of upside. at this trip. I just really think that, and I'm going to put him down as my bet of the day each way. Like I said, I have no nap of the day today. I don't want to be fucking putting out false fucking shit, because your boys napping horses every single day just because their employers want them to, whether it's a bookie or a TV station or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? So that's just not how it's working. So I like a horse. I'll move on swiftly to the last race, the 5:15 at Aintree. The Masons Handicap Hurdle, conditional jockeys and amateur riders. Okay, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I have a little each way fancy here. The Grey Falco, ridden by Brian Carver, Alistair Ralph, an old pal of mine, Ralphie, who I used to work with in Paul Nichols' a long time ago. So best of luck, Ralphie. Your horse looks nicely weighted today, and I hope the Grey Falco can run well. So treat all my selections with tentative care. And yeah, my one of the day is the second last race, the 4:40 Galley Hill. But like I said, that is my each way bet of the day. But I really fancy it to be bang there. So that's it. And I'm just going to touch on one other horse here, just for you. I just thought a horse could be a big price. Now this horse mightn't just be a dour stayer at 2.5 mile. That's the only thing. But let's just go to it, right? The 6:55 tonight in Wexford. A horse, number 8, Sean Flanagan for Noel Mead, alright? Fugerman, or however you pronounce it. Probably, if it was 2 mile, I would like him. But he's into a novice handicap chase. He's been running in all beginners chases. Probably not the most dour of a stayer, but I'm just going to take a chance that he's off 10 stone 5 in a novice handicap chase. And he could outrun his odds. That's all I'm going to say, alright? He's 6:55 at Wexford. Might outrun his odds at a big price. So, remember that. Okay, best of luck today. Treat every selection with care. And yeah, enjoy the racing. And remember, the time for codding is over.